Sock toast. What would you do if you had a pet fish that grew human legs in the middle of the night and stood over your bed just breathing at you?
I have questions. First, how big is this fish? If it's standing over the bed, did the legs come with a growth spurt? And did its lungs adapt to land for it to breathe at me? I guess I'd be mystified more than anything else. I told you I don't scare easily.
Todd Butt 1. You design your own games. What sort of games? And would you ever create one with the intention of releasing it to the general public if you haven't already?
Yes, I'm an avid game designer. Or rather, I wish I was. I haven't released anything yet. I'm not fond of collabs. Not everyone can handle the long haul. Since I work alone, progress tends to be very slow. But at least I know I'll get it done eventually. That said, I've been kicking around RPG ideas for a while. I might have finished my first one by now, but I keep thinking of more things I want to add. I know the dangers of feature creep, but it's so hard to resist. I also have a visual novel I'm making. That's more writing-oriented than anything else. But I still want to include some mini-games and stuff. Too many VNs are non-interactive. It's a process, but I can totally handle it.
And, are those glasses for show, or do you wear them because you need them? You don't have to answer this one if you don't want to.
Yeah, you could probably tell from an earlier answer, but these are prescription lenses. I can barely see without them, only an inch in front of me. I'm not touchy about my nearsightedness, so don't sweat it.
Doc Rose. Hello, do you believe in aliens?
I do. I think it's less likely that they don't exist. Seriously, how could ours be the only planet with life in the whole universe? Whether we'll ever locate any aliens is another thing entirely.
What is your favorite RPG ever?
As I've said, it's Earthbound. I guess I could tell you a little of why, though. For starters, it's just loaded with charm. Quirky doesn't even begin to describe it. It has an aesthetic of its own. Most things using that art style are homages to it. The battle's gonna be tough if they catch you off guard, or easy if you're well prepared. I especially like the rolling HP mechanic that lets you prevent damage by healing or winning first. Some other mechanics are admittedly clunky. Let's not bring up the inventory system. But it's an innovative title right down to its MacGuffins. And it has a sense of humor to top it off. Need I say more?
Any favorite DDLC mods other than Take-Two?
I don't know what Take-Two is or anything about your mods. I'm not keeping track of your weird fan games about the club. Even if they're well written, I can't imagine what they'd be about.
Do you believe that bacteriophages will be the future go-to medication once bad bacteria finally adapt to our normal antibiotics?
Evolving bacteria are a real medical concern, but I don't know if bacteriophages are the answer. If they can genetically engineer ones that are safe for human use, then maybe. If molds adapt along with bacteria, it may not be an issue at all.
Can you tell me a little bit about D&D? I have never really got into it.
I can try to share a little about D&D, but that's a tall order. You can think of it like taking Pretend to an advanced level. The game uses dice rolls and stats to determine the outcome of skill-based scenarios. For example, say you're picking up a bar of soap. It's wet and therefore slippery. Whether you picked it up or not depends on your dexterity. So you roll a die. If the number is too low, you dropped it. If high, you'd have it securely. The numbers in between determine how much of a success or failure the action is. So you might fumble the soap with a middling roll, but still end up holding it. Your stats buffer the number, so you're more likely to succeed at things you do well. However, you could still get a miracle roll and pull off something ridiculously successful, or roll an absolute stinker and completely fail at something that was practically guaranteed. But that's just the nitty-gritty. The actions you roll for come up through scenarios you play in. Solutions to problems are limited only by what you can think to have your character try. Well, and if the rolls allow it, that's for the DM to decide. D&D is an immersive, unpredictable experience that pits your wits against pure random chance. And that's the least I can tell you about it.
Any thoughts on Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding?
Kojima's next game sounds pretty promising. I'm hoping they'll have more trailers ready soon. That first one we got was just wow. With as goofy as the Metal Gear series ended up, I can only guess about what to expect.
Last one. How are you?
Me? I'm doing great. Thanks, Doc.
Shiro, the Lord and Legend. First off, I want to say I respect the work you put into helping these AMAs go smoothly. People tend to overlook the work put into something behind the scenes. So here are some questions.
Well, thanks. You're right. These recordings don't exactly render themselves. There's a lot more that goes into... Hold on a sec. Shiro, the Lord and Legend, really? Okay, whatever. I've added some small touches to make these more approachable. Like all those red lines and little brackets. I hope they've been helpful. And grouping posts with similar questions even when they have unrelated parts attached. We appreciate your comments, but seriously, you all made a real job out of this. So thank you for the acknowledgement.
What are some of your favorite VNs?
I'm really picky about visual novels. It's easy for them to turn into a snore fest or for the writing to just fall flat. The ones I like best are a little more off the wall, not just plain old dating sims. Katawa Shujo is especially good. By some accounts, it's like a normal sim. But get this, it's set in a school for the disabled. All your options have some sort of handicap. I like it because the characters' personalities are more important than their respective conditions. There's also Hatoful Boyfriend, which is just plain hilarious. And there's a Fate Stay Night VN that's worthy of mention as well.
How did you get into D&D?
I've been into D&D since the start of high school. A buddy needed me to fill in for a guy in his group, and I loved it. I enjoy running the show a lot more than being a participant, but it's always a blast either way.
How does it feel to be best boy?
Well, it's not saying much if I'm the best of two boys. Besides, I don't know Hallie well enough to really claim that.
I concede. Let's see, Timothy Son of Sam. Hey there, guy. First of all, I liked your special effects on Tiffany's hair. It made me chuckle.
Do you like that green hair prank? Yeah, I think we can all agree that color is disgusting. Thankfully, it isn't naturally that shade.
Second, what gave you the courage to ask you to join the club? Did you expect poor reception from the other members? In other words, did you in any way regret joining after seeing the way the girls were apprehensive toward you?
It didn't take that much courage to ask them about joining. Once I saw that things had calmed down, it was no trouble at all. If their post-festival meltdown had been any worse, I would have come back the next day instead. I don't regret having joined, but I could have introduced myself a bit better. I'm usually pretty confident in what I have to say, but I've been known to overstep my bounds. I think I can still salvage it though, just gotta show them there's nothing to worry about. And I hope these AMAs are helping.
Peakinator Gaming. New day, headache gone, and I'm doing great. So I'm coming back with another question. What's the scariest thing that has ever happened to you?
The scariest thing, huh? Well, you know I don't scare easily. But I wasn't always that way. I had to harden up. This might come as no surprise, but I've endured my share of bullying ever since grade school, and even still sometimes now. Though I usually do fine as long as I stay clear of Reiji and his idiot lackey Achi. As a kid, I tried not to let it bug me, but sometimes it got physical. The first time that happened is the most scared I've ever been. I learned early on not to reward bullying behavior. If they can't get a rise out of you, they get bored and move on. And now you know why I'm so self-assured, too.
Curse Cow. Hi again, Shiro. Sickness is gone. I feel amazing, and I come bearing a few more questions. It's or whatever. 1. Do you like anime? If you do, I recommend an anime called The Seven Deadly Sins. It is amazing, and I can't recommend it enough.
Well, you know I like anime. Haven't heard of that one, though. Sounds kinda generic. I'll give it a look and tell you what I think in the follow-up.
2. Have you read a manga called Monster Musume?
I don't know this one either. Didn't Hallie say he's read it? Well, maybe I can borrow it off him later.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. 3. What is your least favorite mode of transport?
That would be travel by subway. You might think I'd like walking less, but Japanese subways are pretty packed in rush hour. You're unlikely to get a seat, and so many people need to travel at once that the cars fill up quickly. It's uncomfortable at best, so I avoid it if I can.
That is all the questions I am asking. Have a nice day, and please tell everyone I said hi. Thanks.
No, thank you for all the questions. But if you want to say hello to everyone, do it in the group AMA.
Jian Yulong. Hello there, Shiro. I definitely agree that video games can be literature. They don't always bother, but I actually think that the interactive video games can make some absolutely gripping stories when the devs try.
This guy gets it. Games can tell great stories in their own way. I've seen some excellent stories told without using a single word. Though I guess that doesn't really help the literature debate.
Have you ever played a Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2? They haven't aged well, but they remain my favorite games. I actually think there are some story bits that hold up pretty well, particularly in the second game.
This is the first actual 3D Sonic game. I was curious to check out Sonic Adventure. No, 3D Blast doesn't count. It didn't transition to a 3D environment that well, but I appreciated what it was going for. I liked the branching story paths. That was a nice touch to tie the whole thing together. Though I could have done without an entire arc devoted to fishing for a frog. I don't know as much about the second one. Maybe I'll look it up.
Emma Cassandra. Just 3 questions, which is surprising since I had a bunch for Sayori, Monica, Natsuki, and Yuri. 1. You're a classic old-school gamer, so the fated question. Mario or Sonic?
Well, why not both? They're different styles of platformer with totally unique physics. They each have their own appeal. But I do think the older Marios have tighter controls, if only by comparison. Sonic's physics take some getting used to. Not bad, just different.
2. Do you play Pokemon? If so, do you play competitively / what is your competitive team?
I don't play Pokemon competitively, but I've done my share of battling online. I don't have a fixed team. I like to raise unconventional mons and see what I can get away with. It's fun to keep my opponents guessing if nothing else.
3. Lastly, would you ever play as Ness or Lucas in Super Smash Bros?
Oh, well, Ness is my main. I have a tough time playing as Lucas. Since they have the same body type and similar moves, I find myself trying to play like Ness anyway. Lucas's moves don't work quite the same, so that doesn't turn out too well.
Spaghetti pasta. Shiro, do you have a fedora?
You're the second guy to ask. Am I getting profiled here? I already deconfirmed my neckbeard status, so don't worry.
Are you a nice guy?
I like to think I'm a nice guy. At least, I'm nice to people who are nice to me. I'll treat anybody with common decency, but you have to earn my respect. And if you can't show me some basic civility, then you aren't worth my time.
And are you single?
Yeah, I'm single, but that doesn't bother me much. If a girl can't get past my looks, then she's not worth my time either.
I has butter 4. You are thrown into an arena with a starved tiger. You have the choice of a sword and shield, a spear, or a bow with 5 arrows to defend yourself. What do you choose?
To fight a tiger, I think the sword and shield would be best. It can only fight physically, and a cat that big can't really throw its weight around. It could wound it with a spear or arrows, but would probably still get you, too. The shield can help protect you and create openings for your own attacks. It'd be my best chance.
Orbers. Who are you going after of the girls in the club? Or are you interested in MC?
Going after? What are you implying here? I mean, there are some I'm more curious about than others. Hallie included. He seems like a chill dude. I guess I'm not most interested in Yuri, but I didn't join just for her. So relax. You almost sound suspicious of me.
Slightly simple. Since Stephanie didn't want to answer the question I gave her, how good of a hitman are you?
I'm not sure how those are related, but I'm not the guy to ask about getting people whacked. Her answer didn't upset you that badly, did it? So what if she wants to keep her troubles to herself? Based on the other animes, I think the rest would have liked that luxury.
Let's see, Centurion Kicks. He seems really cool. Then I chime in. Does he? Does he really? Are we supposed to ask the questions? I felt this was worth questioning.
Screw you, Hallie. I don't need your judgment. It's not like you're that cool yourself. If they think I'm cool, what's it matter to you? Really, it doesn't mean much to me either way. But I'll take the compliment regardless.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, C, B, A, 4, 3, 2, 1. What games have you made?
I wish I could say I've made any. Independent development is so involved. My main project is an RPG that I'm trying a few things with. It's turn-based since I'm putting emphasis on tactical choices, but I'm throwing out some of the usual conventions. It's a work in progress. My other project is a VN with a story and character focus. It has girls you can date, but there's more to it than that. Your decisions may affect all your relationships, not just with the girl you're focused on. That one's more involved for completely different reasons. Sadly, I'm not even ready to put out a demo of either one.
Fromulus. Not really a question, but I hope the other girls won't be too harsh on you about your passion for video games. They're a form of art too, as well as, for some of them, a very unique way of telling literature. Also, you're part of a video game yourself.
I can't read that fine print, but I agree with the rest. I don't think the girls will mind. It's not like I'll insist we play a game together or something. I'm more focused on the writing aspect of literature, but I'm sure we'll get along just fine.
Yoshi48. So, what do you think of the other club members? Do you get along well? What got you interested in joining, if there's any reason other than the girls?
Oh, well, we covered some of these questions earlier. It's been a week since I joined, and we're getting along just fine. But you think I'm only here for the ladies? I can't blame you for suspecting me, but I've shared some other reasons already.
What do you think of the Mario RPGs? Super Mario RPG, Paper Mario series, Mario & Luigi series?
Well, those are some of my favorites. Making the battles interactive with special commands is a brilliant design. Some people complained about that, but it makes the games more engaging overall. They're well-written stories, too. They have simple plots, but dialogue and characterization is always on point.
Do you have a Smash Bros. Main?
Believe it or not, it's still Ness.
What's your favorite indie game?
Given my preferences, it might surprise you that my favorite indie game is Spelunky. Better make that classic Spelunky. The HG remake is okay, but the original has more charm and fewer hazards. Not that it isn't plenty dangerous on its own. Who would have thought a platformer could put roguelike elements to such good use? Somebody even wanted it to let you play as a man-eating plant. That was me.
Let's see. Beyond 15. So this is Shiro. Hello, hello. One look at you tells me you're a fellow gamer. What would you say is the greatest game of all time? Mine is Ocarina of Time. Partly because it's the first game I ever played, and it's just that damn good to me to this day.
And hello to you, fellow gamer. Yeah, you have me pegged. I like that you didn't ask what my favorite game is, but rather what I think the greatest game is. Ocarina of Time is a solid contender, I'll give you that. But I think the title belongs to Portal. It's almost objectively flawless. There are many games I like, but I can always find some little gripe if I look hard enough. But not with Portal. It's airtight in every regard. It could only be better if it were real.
2. What is your opinion on the Soulsborne series?
I'm not especially a fan of those games, but I respect the influence they had. They came out during a time where a lot of gamers were whiny little babies if a game so much as irked them. Of course, the industry listened and made games easier and easier to compensate. Dark Souls showed that a game can be hard and fair, and that rising to challenges is rewarding. So, while not my cup of tea, I'm glad for what they accomplished.
3. Have you played the visual novel Magicoi? If so, who is your best girl?
I haven't played Magicoi, but I can totally get back to you on that.
Let's see. 4. Since your name is Shiro, does the name Shiro-chan ring any bells? Perhaps referencing a certain popular character from a cleaning product series?
Cleaning products? Oh, you must mean Bleach. No relation to that Shiro. Besides, he can't stand that nickname anyway. Fun fact though, my name has 2 meanings in Japanese. It means castle and white. I guess they both sort of apply.
Simics 37, 12, 13. 1. What dokis would you have a threesome with?
Well, aren't you a bit of a perv? I wouldn't mind to roll around with Yuri and Monica, not that I'd ever try to set that up. The others are, well, I know they're all the same age, but I'm into more mature women.